Okay, I think it's probably pretty safe to say that these guys are really freaking good. If you had a chance to watch any golf at all this last weekend, then you would have saw a scoring fest from the boys on the PGA Tour. 62 by Jason Day in the final round, 62 by CT Pan, 63 by Siwoo Kim, Adam Scott, Kevin Tway, the list goes on and on and on. The scoring was magnificent. And if anybody's ever played TPC at Craig Ranch, you know that that golf course is not that easy. It just shows you how good these boys really are. So congratulations to Jason Day, who just picked up his first victory in over 5 years. Formerly the #1 player in the world. And we could tell that he was getting some forward momentum and getting his golf swing into a good spot where he could go out there and do the damn thing. So congratulations to you, Jason. We are going to be heading into the lab here in just a little bit, and we are going to be doing an analysis on his golf swing today that talks about specifically the transition move. A lot of times amateur golfers struggle with that big move onto their lead side, and if you do these two key things correct, then you can set yourself up for a better delivery position, a better impact position that's much safer on the body as well. But before we do that, I want to send out a special congratulations to my man, my good buddy, Paul Dickinson, who just won a very big golf tournament this past weekend up in the Met section. He won the Met section PGA championship, the match play championship. So I'm so proud of you, bud. Congratulations to you. I know that you've got some big things in front of you moving forward. That is a big event. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I've got a quick one here for you today because we're not going to go into this really long-winded sort of format when it comes to his golf swing. I've done plenty of analysis on him in the past. I just want to focus on the impact position first, and I want to focus on a key move that you want to start working towards. And then what we'll do later on in the week is we're going to step out on the driving range together, and we're going to be working on a drill that basically separates the body into two pieces and then allows you to blend them back together and then move into the same impact position that you're going to see Jason move into. So if you look at his impact position now, what you're going to notice is that his lead side of his body, lead ankle, lead knee, lead hip socket, and lead shoulder are all right in line with one another. This is a spot that I would advocate all golfers of all skill sets to get into at impact. Why? Well, because it's an efficient position that ensures us that our weight is fully shifted onto our lead side. It's a safe position, and it's got very good control of the low point in the swing. What I mean by a safe position is if you look at his spine here, and I draw a line down it, you can see that the spine is pointed right kind of through the middle of the knee here. So many times we watch amateur golfers lean their spine back in this direction before their hands and arms get down in front of them. Why do you do that? Well, that's one of those things that helps shallow out the swing plane for sure, and it does feel like it's an easy way for you to be able to keep the club from stuffing in the ground, but ultimately what it does is it puts your body into a compromised position because again you're creating a little bit more lateral side bend, but what it's also doing is it's moving the low point back, and when the low point moves back, now your hands start getting a little bit more active and then all hell breaks loose. So what we're going to be working towards later in the week is we're going to be working towards getting you into this position. Now, the reason why amateur golfers tend to struggle so much getting into this spot is because you just don't transition properly in the downswing. Now, if we look at Jason from the get-go here, one of the big misunderstandings when it comes to weight shift and movement in the swing is that we've always been taught, or we've always thought, that the head is supposed to stay perfectly still. It's not true at all. The head is supposed to move in the golf swing. It's supposed to move small amounts. If your head doesn't move off the ball, then you're going to run into reverse pivot territory, which is terrible on your back. And you're going to be sacrificing one of those things that helps you generate speed in the golf swing, and that's weight shift. So when you look at Jason, you're going to see that at the top of his golf swing, his head is moved right around an inch to maybe an inch and a half or so off the ball. He's got about 85 to 90% of his total body mass underneath his right foot. He's now set up into a position where he's ready to start unloading and moving back to the lead side. Now, the big key here in transition, aside from what you're doing with the legs and the hips, is to allow the upper body to move back into position. This little bit of movement from where his head is now over to this line or even slightly in front of it, to most feels like you're moving 3 miles. Why? Well, it's all part of your vestibular process, all part of your proprioception, right? When you start seeing and feeling eye movement, you feel like your body is swaying. It's not a sway. It's just you utilizing something that's making your golf swing more efficient. That's weight shift. So when you look in that first move in transition, his head comes all the way back, slightly in front of where it was at address. Notice how his shoulders are still very wound. His right shoulder's up, his left shoulder's down. The outer portion of his lead side flank is very vertical here. This is where amateur golfers struggle, because what they're doing in transition is that you'll see that their hips want to slide in this direction and the upper body wants to stay back. And when you start creating that sort of side bend in transition, you're not going to stop. You're not going to have your spine lean back this way and then all of a sudden try to get it more vertical. That would feel extremely unorthodox, and in fact, you probably can't even do it. You would have to kind of heave your shoulders into this really big rotation in order to offset it, and that's obviously not something that a lot of people could be able to do. So the whole point of what I'm trying to tell you here is, in order to get to that good solid impact position, is you need to allow the head to move with the upper half and the lower half in transition to get you set up for a good solid delivery into impact, as you see here. Now, the key to this is when you make your move in transition is to feel like your upper body stays wound, almost like you're trying to keep the back to the target. And a lot of times what I'll have people do is I'll have them feel like their left shoulder kind of traces over onto the left ankle. Now that's not something that I would advocate across the board to every single student out there, but those are just simple ways to be able to feel this. And as I said to you guys in the start of this, I said to you that we are going to step out onto the range later in the week. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to teach you a drill that's going to help you master the transition just like you would see Jason do. And I'm also going to teach you how to do a shallowing move with your hands and your arms. So if you focus on the right-hand side of the screen, this is something that Jason's doing really well now. You can see the club shaft is trying to go right through the middle of his forearms. He's a whole lot more shallow into his delivery point than he used to be, which is great. So now that he's a little bit more upright with his spine at impact, which is helping him save his back, which would be considered a steepening move, he has now offered a shallowing move back to the golf swing that helps him get into a position where he can kind of balance the equation. That's what this is all about. The golf swing is a whole bunch of steepening and shallowing moves. And so if you put in a steepening move, then you need to have something that's going to help shallow things back out, or you're going to run into problems. So I like the impact position here. You're going to work towards trying to get the left ankle, left knee, left hip socket, and left shoulder all stacked on top of one another. This is a great spot for you to be really, really good command of the low point in the swing. It's a great spot for you to be safe, and ultimately you're going to be more efficient. So how do I want you guys to handle business? Well, allow your head to move back into position. Use a mirror from a face-on perspective and think about your left shoulder staying down or your back staying to the target, and allow your head to come back into its original position in transition. And you're going to notice that at impact, you're going to be much, much more upright and much more stacked on the left side, which is going to lead to all of the things that you're looking for when it comes to ball striking. All right, so there you have it. So just a quick one here today that shows you how to get into a good solid impact position. Like I said, later in the week, we're going to be releasing a video that shows me doing a drill that you can use at home that's going to basically take the body and separate it into two pieces, teach you these movements as two separate pieces, and then teach you how to blend them back together so that you can start implementing it into your own golf swings. And if you're new to our channel, which I'm sure you are because the channel is brand new, I want to welcome you. I'm excited to be here, and I know that we've got a lot of really good stuff that's going to be coming out. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That way you get notification anytime we put out new content. Do me a favor, click the like button below. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post those up, and I'll help you out as best as I possibly can. And be on the lookout for the next video because I think you're going to really love the drill.